Alright, hello everyone. DSP here with not wet down hair, which is why it's all fluffy like it is. And welcome to the Weekend Preview. Today is Sunday, January 25th, 2015. And this is actually the very first Weekend Preview in a long time that I'm not live streaming. And you might say to yourself, wow, I didn't see Phil live streaming, so I decided to check out the King of Hate vlogs, his YouTube channel for all of his vlogging. And here it is. Why didn't he stream it? It's very simple. I know for a fact that a large portion of my viewer base are watching the Royal Rumble right now. And this is actually one of the major changes since I moved to the West Coast, is that unfortunately WWE pay-per-view events kind of happen during the time frame when I would be doing my second stream. And because of that, I realized that there's overlap. Now, in this case, earlier today was all about wrestling, which I'll explain in a moment. And everyone there was like, yeah, we're watching the Royal Rumble live tonight. So I said, why would I bother setting up and everything to get it live streamed or whatever? I'll just record it locally and upload it. And let's be honest, even for the Weekend Preview, it really doesn't get a lot of views on stream anyway. So it's not that big of a deal this week to forego 1 week streaming the Weekend Preview, okay? So, speaking of the Weekend Preview, we had a fun week. We're going to recap very briefly here everything that I did in the past week, and then I'm going to tell you everything I'm doing in this coming week, including some returning stuff that's been gone for quite a long time, which will be fun. And I also want to tell you about, in the next couple of weeks, some things that are going to be happening so you guys are well aware and expecting of that, okay? So let's get started. This past week was fun because it was the first new week of 2015 where we actually had new release games, and we balanced that with continuing playthroughs. So, for example, this past week we were doing final, or at least near endgame portions of our playthroughs of Dragon Age Inquisition, as well as Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix. And the good news is, I did finish Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix this past Friday. I loved it. I think the game is great. I actually enjoyed it much more than I enjoyed the original Kingdom Hearts game. I don't know, for whatever reason. Maybe it was because the end wasn't as much of a grind or whatever, or because I took my time more with it. I don't know. But I really did like Kingdom Hearts 2 more than Kingdom Hearts 1. That playthrough is complete. People were telling me that the funniest, well, there's a really funny part in the credits when I kind of razz all the stuff going on in the credits. People are saying that could be a funniest moments contender this year. So check it out if you haven't. That playthrough is now complete after some, 150 some parts, I believe, in that one. Okay, so that completed, and I did continue on with Dragon Age Inquisition. I'm near the end game, but I haven't beaten it yet. Most people are saying when I go back this next time that I maybe have 1 or 2 companion quests left, if that, and then I'm probably going to just do the final story mission and beat the game. So, looks like Dragon Age Inquisition will be finishing, and I'll be talking about that shortly when I'm planning on doing that this week, okay? In addition to that, we had new content. We actually had 2 new games, although you can't really say they're new games. You had Resident Evil HD Remake, which is the remake of the GameCube version from 2002, now with widescreen HD graphics, redone music and visuals and such. And I'm really enjoying it. I played it several streams this week. I'm liking the balance of the old-style puzzles from the original Resident Evil, as well as the new stuff that they tossed in for the GameCube version. So it's a unique balance, and I'm really liking it. And it looks like 1 to 2 more streams of that tops, and I'll have beaten that as well, okay? In addition to that, we tried out the Saints Row 4 Get Out of Hell DLC, which I'm going to be honest with everyone now at this point. All right, I have to be. One of the worst DLCs I've played in recent memory. The entire thing is literally cutting and copying the gameplay of Saints Row 4, pasting it into a heartless, just worthless DLC. This story doesn't need to exist. The story is terrible. It's silly. There's a musical number that's okay, that's funny, and then everything else is kind of eh. And literally the game forces you to do repetitive missions that you've already done during the course of all the gameplay of Saints Row 4 you've ever done. It's the same gameplay, the same side missions, the same survival combat missions. It's literally identical. There's really nothing interesting at all about this DLC. Just another reason for you to drop another $20. And I actually quit it before I beat it, to which it's funny because, I'm playing the DLC, people are watching saying, this is boring, we don't even want to watch this anymore, so people weren't even joining the streams anymore because it was so bad, and I announced, that's it, I'm quitting it, right? Because it makes sense, if you're not liking something, if it's bad and you have other stuff that you want to do, quit what you're doing, why waste your time? Of course, immediately you get the flood of people on the final video on YouTube, Phil's a quitter and all that. Listen, these people weren't even watching the playthrough. If you actually look, no one was really paying attention too much to the playthrough because it was terrible, all right? After that first initial set of gameplay that I did, you could tell this DLC was awful and just phoned in and no effort was put into it. It was just to make cheap, quick money and not actually have anything worthwhile for it. And I'm always going to get criticism, but I just say, to stuff like that, ignore it. You got to shrug it off and say, no, it's my life, it's my time. I'm not going to waste my time playing a DLC that I hate. And it's kind of funny because some people were saying, oh, well, you could have beaten it within 30 more minutes, to which I say, I don't care if I could have beaten it in 3 more minutes. I wasn't wasting another minute on that piece of shit DLC. It's not worth my time. So, skip that DLC. Gat Out of Hell is absolutely terrible. Volition should be ashamed of themselves, especially after making 2 good DLCs for Saints Row, making a 3rd one over a year later just for the sake of making a quick buck. It's bullshit, okay? I did take some time off this week, personal time, and it paid off because, luckily for me, I was able to actually get some stuff done that, I know my hair's out of control and I just cannot get it to stay still, it's puffing up. I was able to get some stuff done that I've needed to get done for a long time and haven't had a chance. I was able to go through all my statue collection and actually document 31 things that I'm probably going to be selling over the course of the next year or more, depending on how long it takes. And I actually looked up the values of some of these things. I mean, things that I paid $200-300 for right now are going for up to $1,000 or more. It's insane. It's like these actually were a good investment, although that's not why I was buying them. I was buying them as decorations, never thinking they would ever go up in value, and a lot of them have. And, you know, I had the discussion with Leanna about it. She's like, well, do you want to keep any of them? And I'm like, why? Why would I? When right now we could use as much money as possible to pay off all these bills that we've racked up moving here. Why would I save a stupid statue that I have to put shelving or something in my office or whatever? And there's not even any room. There's nowhere for me to put a statue down. I have to find somewhere or rearrange something. It's not worth it. I said, I'd rather, you know, see what we can get for them selling them. So, coming up shortly, I'm going to tell you this. It's probably going to be starting the 2nd week of February. I'm going to start working on that. What I'm going to do is do a video series where maybe once a week I'll highlight one of the things I'm selling. I'll show it off. I'll explain to you guys, you know, what it's worth and how valuable it is, and we're going to see if anyone personally wants to contact me and is interested in buying it, a viewer or a fan. If I don't get any interest or any real interest within a couple days of the video, I'll probably put it up on Amazon, and we'll see if people on Amazon are interested, and we'll go from there. The difference here is that unlike a lot of these sellers that I'm finding on eBay and Amazon, you're like, who's this guy, Joe Schmo, and it's a photo of it, who knows what quality this really is. I'm going to make YouTube videos to show you exactly what you're getting, to show you the quality of the content, and the quality of the product that you're going to get, and I think it would actually give me an advantage to show, oh, here I am, I'm real, and here's the item, okay? So that's coming up, just as a heads up, in the next couple of weeks. I also had a chance to finally go through the Hardcore Gaming Season giveaway stuff. I measured everything, and I'm here to announce good news. If you won the giveaway, I bought boxes for all that stuff, and I'm going to be mailing it within a week. In fact, I've decided it's going to be this Saturday coming up. I'm going to go to the UPS store that's nearby me. I'm going to bring all the boxes with me, and I'm just going to mail them. I don't care what the cost is. I know there's a few people that are international. It's probably going to cost me $100 or more to mail all this shit. I don't care. At this point, it's been so delayed. I just want it over with, and I'm sorry to the people who've been waiting. Look at this piece of hair. Look at this hair. It will not stay up. I just want to apologize to the people who've been waiting, because I know I've been so busy, and during the holidays, it was insane just driving around here, and now I'm finally getting to it, and I'm sorry for that. It would have been done months earlier if the website hadn't gone down, and it took me a long time to get the information, okay? But that's going to happen this week as well. And just a lot of personal stuff I got done, which was good. And then the other good news is I did get the funniest moments montage of 2014 completed and live as of Friday night. So if you didn't see it yet, you're like, what? Phil did it? Yeah, I know I kind of had it tentatively up in the air when it was going to be out. It was released on Friday. About 15,000 people, as of me filming this video, have seen it. And I've gotten massive positive feedback. In fact, I think at this point it might have almost 1,000 thumbs up on the video. People saying they love it. Wow, I wish you would do this stuff more often. And I actually responded on Twitter last night, and I said, it seems that the year-end videos, people were like shocked that I do this. Now, I do this every year, but apparently people are under the impression from all of the negativity and slander out there about me that I don't, that I just sit here and play video games all day, every day, and I never do any video editing or anything like that. Now, I'm not good at it. I'll tell you right now, I'm not good at video editing. I use a piece of shit software that I'm probably going to have to get rid of if I actually want to do anything better than what I'm doing now. But I like doing it. It's just very time consuming. These days that I was doing these year-end videos, I was only streaming once because I was spending 4 or 5 hours at night doing video editing and stuff for you guys. And it is that time consuming. So you have to understand if that's what you want, right? If you want more edited videos, you want montages every 2 weeks or a month. Oh, the best of the month, the funniest moments of this playthrough. I can do that, but that's going to take away from my overall ability to play as many games as I do. I'm okay with that, but I also need to make a living. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I need to make enough money to pay the bills, to pay for this move. I can't say, okay, so I'm going to do more edited videos, less gameplay. Oh, by the way, I now make half as much money as I used to, so I can't pay for the house and I go bankrupt. That's not how life works, okay? That's just being real with you. That's not how life works. So if you like those style of videos, it goes hand in hand. Watch them, spread the word about them. The funniest moments, it's been out for about 2 days now, has about 15,000 views. We can get that up, you know what I mean? Spread the word across the internet that Phil made a really funny video, despite what idiots say. Check it out, and people watch it and say, wow, this video is great, and it catches on, and we could get that kind of attention on edited videos. Yes, then I can take more time to do them more often. The problem is, no, I can't take time out to not do any gameplay, do these videos, and then 1,000 people watch it, and that's it. Because that's life. I mean, that's operating a business. That's not me being greedy or money whore like a lot of people would say. It's me being real with you. The business has to continue. I can't just take a giant cut because people like the edited videos, but then no one wants to go the extra mile and have other people check it out and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Okay, so just throwing that out there. I'm more than willing to work on more edited videos and do more montages and these kinds of things moving forward. I would love to do the best of January and put a bunch of funny moments together for you, or the highlights of the Dragon Age Inquisition playthrough, and it's a, you know, a 15-20 minute video of the things that I think were the funniest or the coolest moments in the whole playthrough. I'd be more than willing to do that, but I need time to do it. It takes a lot of time, so I need your help with it as well, okay? All right, and going along with that, the next thing we'll talk about, and then we'll get to the schedule for this week, Patreon, because that goes hand in hand with what I just talked about. You know, you want to see me change up the way that I do my work. You want to see me not just do raw gameplay, but you want to see me do more edited videos and that quality of stuff. Patreon is a great way for you to support me in that effort. If I'm going to take a hit on overall views because less people are watching gameplay footage because I'm not making as much, supporting me on Patreon for as little as $1 a month, that could help immensely and make up for that, okay? So my Patreon does exist. I haven't been talking about it or plugging it much, and I want to make it very clear to everyone that there are no perks or goals or anything set up on my Patreon account. It's called a placeholder account, all right? The reason it exists is because trolls were stealing all my names on Patreon, and Patreon talked to me and said, you know, if you're really going to start a page, we'll give you this one, but you have to take it now, so I did. But I don't have any goals or anything set up, and don't listen to the nonsense of people out there saying, oh, but you can't have a Patreon account and no perks or goals and people are going to donate and you're not giving them anything. That's a violation of the terms of service. No, it's not. Because guess what? That's just people making bullshit up out of thin air. Patreon exists as a way for an artist or an entertainer or creator of some form of media to make content and for you to contribute to them so they can continue to do it. Period. They don't have to offer perks. They don't have to offer goals. Now, I am going to do that, and once I have those concretely done and promised to you on that Patreon page, yes, I have to come through with those if I hit those certain goals or whatever that are the requirements. But when there's nothing up there and it literally just says things are coming, that's it. You know, there's nothing. So for those of you who are Patreons for January, I want to reiterate, I said this 2 weeks ago and I'll say it again. Nothing, you know, no perks or anything this month because this was kind of the setup month. This is me getting settled in, finishing the year-end series that took forever to finish. I finally got them done. We got one more week here full of gameplay. And then starting in February, I'm going to get real about the goals and about the perks and things that I can give to Patreon donators, all right? So the Patreon account is DarkSidePhil, my name, okay? And no capital letters, by the way, because there's already people on there impersonating me with all variations of the name and capital letters instead of lowercase. It's DarkSidePhil lowercase. And I want to say thank you to the 24 or so people who've already become a Patreon before I even promised anything. You guys are awesome. Obviously, you guys support me no matter what I do, no matter what I'm giving back. But I do understand that there are a bunch of people who want to do it but are waiting to see what are these perks and how do I get them and yada, yada, yada. So that will be coming in the near future, all right? All right. So, final thing, if you do want to suggest things about Patreon, gee, I would love to see Phil do this for Patreon subscribers. Man, if Phil hit this much Patreon income a month, I'd like to see him do this special project, or do this special playthrough, or play this particular game. That's the kind of stuff I want to hear, and I've gotten tons of suggestions on the forums already, and I can already tell you some of the great suggestions, such as, once Phil hits a certain amount of money a month, he reached this goal, well, he's going to play Minecraft, and it'll be an ongoing thing that he does once a week for a month, and just to see if he likes it, because he never played it, and, you know, that's something that, honestly, I never wanted to venture out and do, but tons of people have asked me to do over the years. Yes, I'd be willing to do that. There's other ideas that people have said. Make him play like a marathon of terrible games that we know he'll rage at, even though he probably wouldn't pick to play those games. Have him do that. Yeah, I would consider doing something like that. Do a stream, a marathon stream of certain games that people pick. I would consider doing something like that, okay? So those are kind of goals and things that you can suggest, and I definitely have appreciated all the people who've suggested those goals. Please continue to do so, all right? Now let's talk about this week's schedule. I apologize. I kind of used the first half of this video as a dumping ground for that info because I haven't done any vlogging. I haven't had a chance to relay that info to you, okay? So what's coming up this week? It's very simple. Tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me talk about today, because today I did simulate the Royal Rumble pay-per-view in WWE 2K15. And unfortunately, it wasn't as good as I wanted it to be, simply because the game is limited. And what I mean by that is they reduced the amount of created character slots in the game by tons. It used to be 100. Now you can only do 25. And just to simulate the actual matches of the pay-per-view took up like half those spots, because there was characters with new outfits, or characters that had been rebranded, or characters that weren't in the game. I needed to do those matches, and I had to get those characters. Now, some people have said, well, Phil, why don't you just do pure fantasy? Why don't you just get all fake people and make characters and just do crazy matches, and that's it? Because those are the ones that get the most views. Because that's not what I'm interested in doing. I want to simulate the actual pay-per-view and have a fantasy and fun element to it, right? Or else it wouldn't be the Royal Rumble Sims. It would be Phil fucks around with WWE 2K15 and just does random shit, which I could do, but I haven't really been interested in that. I'm a fan of wrestling. I want to see what the Sims will do with real wrestlers and such, and that's why I've been doing Sims like this for years, rather than Phil just fucks with WWE this month or whatever. You know what I mean? So the Royal Rumble Sims, unfortunately, only really had one match with fantasy characters. All the other matches were the real simulated matches from the pay-per-view, and some of them were terrible, some of them were pretty good. So it all depends on your perspective and the match in particular. The Rumble match in particular was excellent. So I definitely recommend, if you are only going to check out any match, I think the Rumble match is a good 40 minutes long. Check it out. That's the one that has all the fantasy characters in it, and the people loved it. Once again, on the stream, the people they were going nuts and loving it. So that happened. Now, what I want to say is this. At this point, I have to think about what is the best use of my time. And the question here is, once a month, should I simulate the WWE pay-per-view that goes on in the game, or should I wait and only build it up for big events? So, for example, the Royal Rumble is considered a big event in WWE. Should I wait and build up for WrestleMania, or should I do the ones in between? And honestly, the best way for you to give me your feedback on that is through your participation. If you like the Royal Rumble Sims and you spread the word about them, and you know, they're really exciting and they get a lot of views and that's what people want, then I will take time out next month, despite the fact that maybe I'm doing other playthroughs and other games, and I'll stop for a day like I did this month, even though I was in the middle of other playthroughs, and I'll simulate the pay-per-view. But if it's not very interesting, only, you know, it's a niche group of people who really like wrestling and that's it, okay, I understand that, and that's fine, but I am a fan of wrestling, so every few months I'll do one. Like, I'll do one for Royal Rumble, one for WrestleMania, one for SummerSlam, and maybe one for Survivor Series, and that'll be it. Those will be the 4 that I simulate a year or something, okay? So, check out the videos. If you like them, spread the word. If they do well, I'll do it every month. If they're not doing so well, I'll probably just do it once every few months for one of the big pay-per-views of WWE, okay? All right. Now let's talk about this week, because we got a big week ahead of us. Tons of new stuff. Continuing stuff, completing stuff, and in particular, Monday, we're going to have the conclusion of Dragon Age Inquisition. I've decided that Monday, I'm taking the time, the whole day is going to be Dragon Age Inquisition, alright? First gameplay stream, which is typical time around 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Dragon Age Inquisition, we're going to see how far we can get. If we beat it, we beat it. Woo. If we don't, second stream will also be Dragon Age Inquisition. It's going to be focused on 3 things. Any remaining companion quests, of which I'm not sure if there even are any, we'll find out. Maybe killing a few extra dragons to see if I can make some cool armor, alright? And then the final mission quest, and that's going to be it for me. I know there's probably optional super bosses and all kinds of stuff in the game. At this point, I've played the game for over 2 months, and I'm ready for the end. I did a ton of character-related companion side content the past couple streams that I've played the game, and I'm ready to see the ending of it, alright? So that's going to be tomorrow. If I do beat it on the earlier side, yes, I will be reviewing it. So this will be the first Hateful Truth review that you guys have seen in like 2 months, all right? That's going to be coming up tomorrow if I beat the game quickly enough, all right? Tuesday, we've got 2 new releases. We've got Dying Light, and we've also got Grim Fandango Remastered. Dying Light is supposed to be an action-based survival horror game with zombies where you're running around trying to survive and investigate stuff, and it seems interesting. I haven't seen too much gameplay of it yet, but I have read a few articles about it in game magazines and such, and it seems interesting, which is why I reserved it. I hope you guys are looking forward to that, okay? Grim Fandango Remastered is a legendary game. This is a game that came out, I believe, in the 1990s from Tim Schafer, one of his most famous games. If you don't know who he is, he's the guy who made the Secret of Monkey Island games. He's the one who's been working on Broken Age. And we're waiting very adamantly for the next Broken Age game, or next half of Broken Age to be released this year. It's supposed to be released early on this year. But yeah, that's going to be coming out on Tuesday, and I'm very interested in checking that out because I never played it. That was a game that everyone applauds. It was rated as like one of the best games of all time, and I've never checked it out. Very interested in checking that out. So those are going to be the 2 new games of this week that we're going to be playing along the course of the week, all right? Thursday, the return of Ask the King. This is the first episode of Ask the King since I believe it was either late September or early October. So we're talking over 3 months, almost 4 months, if not 4 months, since the last episode of Ask the King. I'm sure you guys have tons of questions that you've now piled up amongst yourselves, and you're dying to ask me, and you want to see if you can get them answered. On the kingofhate.com forums, we've got a section there already set up under, my series for this episode of Ask the King. Post up your questions there. We have over 110 questions already. The more, the merrier. I usually like to get around 150 questions, if not more, per episode, because that's what I read, and I go through and I cherry pick the ones that I think are the best questions that I can answer the best and can give you an entertaining answer, okay? Now, yes, I will be accepting Twitter and Facebook questions during the course of me preparing for that this coming Thursday. However, I am not going to be, in particular, pulling tons of questions from there. I never do. Usually, I take a couple from each, and that's it. So, great if you want to submit through Twitter and Facebook on Thursday when I tweet up about it or post up on Facebook about it. But I prefer if you post on my forums because those are the ones I go through the most. Please post more questions. The more questions you ask, the better the episode traditionally is, and this is, I think, going to be one of the best ones, being it's been months and months and months since I didn't Ask the King, and I'm excited for it, okay? In addition to that, speaking of the forums, please post up fan art for Dying Light, for Grim Fandango, and, I mean, let's be honest, there's other games coming up, including Evolve, Majora's Mask on the 3DS, Dragon Ball Xenoverse, The Order 1886, and a few others that I've talked about. There is a game that was supposed to come out later this week called Life is Strange, okay? It's supposed to be this episodic murder mystery investigation, kind of almost like a thriller style game, kind of like Heavy Rain, I guess, and it's episodic, and it was supposed to be coming out starting this week. It's from Square Enix, but I haven't found anywhere that can confirm it's still coming out or even said that there's a solid date this week that it's coming out. If it comes out, I want to check it out. If not, I guess I'll wait till it comes out and I'll check it out, but I've looked it up and it looked pretty interesting. So the only things that I've really left out here are Resident Evil Remake, which I'm playing, and vlogging. So let's break those down. Resident Evil Remake will continue this week. In fact, from what people have been telling me, it's only 1 to 2 more streams tops and I'll beat the game. It's not a very long game. It's just Resident Evil 1 with some new areas and new puzzles and stuff. And at this point, I think I've played it for a good, 5, 6, if not longer than that, probably around 7, 8 hours. I have to double check the playthrough and see how long I actually did play it. But I think that I could in another solid session, I could probably beat the game. Excuse me. So I am going to fit that in sometime this week. I don't know when exactly, what day, but I will be doing that sometime this week, okay? And vlogging, well, let's be honest here. I've been so busy with the year-end stuff and with everything else that I really haven't had a chance to do a lot of vlogging. This week in particular, I didn't even do a new episode of DSP Tries It, which I know people enjoy having it consistent, and this week it wasn't consistent, and I apologize for that, okay? This coming week, it looks like I will have a new DSP Tries It, all right? I am very much in my head considering bringing back Smart Guys. I'll probably rename it because people have been saying we want wrestling commentary and we don't want to wait for you to do a Hate Live to just talk about it. We'd like to hear, your thoughts weekly or at least bi-weekly about pro wrestling, and I'm thinking about how to fit that into something, okay? In addition to that, There are the other vlogs and series that I want to start, including the YouTube parody series that I have in mind, the movie series that a lot of people have been asking me about, and that's actually not even a hard one for me to do. I just need to find the time to do it. And there's also the Project 7 reboot. So there's tons of vlogging style videos and edited series and projects that I've got in the works in my head. I just need the time to work on them, and I'm thinking as we move into February, that's where I'm really going to have more time, okay? So more on that as we approach it. If anyone has suggestions on things, so for example, oh, DSP at the movies, or I don't know, Cinema King Cinema, or what, you know, names for the new movie series and stuff like that, I'm always appreciative. Logos and stuff, I'm always appreciative. And as always, you can submit those suggestions and those fan arts and all that stuff on the website, thekingofhate.com, okay? Last but not least, let us talk about the first week of February. And the reason I say that is multiple reasons. Number one, taking a look at my calendar, unless things have changed, which I don't think they have, I don't think there's any new releases the first week of February this year, okay? Which is good, because that means it's a unique opportunity for me to go and finish stuff that's lingering that I haven't finished. So we're talking games like, oh yeah, Tales of Exilia 2. Maybe the one stream I need to complete Parasite Eve 1, excuse me. Possibly going and checking out other games such as Assassin's Creed Black Flag that I didn't get to, alright? That's going to be the opportunity to do that stuff. However, I want to say this because I just planned this out. I want to make this very clear. Leanna and I are stir crazy. And what I mean by that is we moved here in June of last year, and we literally have done nothing. And what I mean by that is, yes, every Saturday we do take some time and we go out and spend about half a day together where we maybe go grocery shopping. Oh, we'll go to the local mall. We'll grab dinner. We'll maybe see, I mean, we've seen like one movie since we've lived here. But for the most part, we feel like we're pent up. Since we've been here, we haven't had any money to do anything, and we really need to do something. Now, our anniversary just passed. It was the middle of June. It was the middle of January, and we didn't do anything for it because I was busy working, and we didn't want to spend any money. Valentine's Day is coming up, and traditionally, you know, romantic couples do stuff for Valentine's Day. It just so happens this year for Valentine's Day, there's games that are going to be out at that time, and I'm going to be busy. So what we've decided to do, we put our heads together, and we said, let's do something as a combination anniversary Valentine's Day celebration, but let's do it as a staycation. If you don't know what that means, it's probably a term that Americans came up with because it sounds silly, I know. It means that basically you stay relatively close to home, but you still find a way to kind of take a mini vacation that's not very expensive, all right? So for me, what I want to do is take 3 days where I'm not live streaming or doing videos of gameplay of any sort, but where she and I go into Seattle, because we live on the kind of the outskirts border area of Seattle. We want to head into the city of Seattle and do fun stuff. We want to do a lot of the stuff that we did back in April of 2014 that we haven't had a chance to do since then. So we're talking maybe going to the EMP Museum again. We're talking going to some of the fun restaurants and places. We're talking going to Pike Place Market. That kind of stuff that we really enjoyed doing the first time we visited Seattle. And we've lived here now for over half a year and haven't done any of it because we've been too busy with everything else and we don't have a lot of money. So what we actually have done, we've booked a relatively inexpensive hotel down in downtown Seattle. We've got 3 days sectioned off that we're going to be spending doing stuff. It's February 4th, 5th, and 6th, okay? We're not going to be doing gameplay footage, but what I will be doing is as we go through Seattle, we'll be vlogging stuff. So there'll be many vlogs that we'll create during that period of time that you'll see going live on the King of Hate vlogs, okay? And then when we come back, we'll feel probably a lot more refreshed, a lot more eager to jump back into gameplay after having all these days where we've been away from it. And we need it. Let me tell you, I need it because it was fun moving here. Don't get me wrong. It was stressful, but it was fun. Several months here, it was taking me to set everything up. Tons of worry about what was going to happen with the business. Was it going to be able to work the way it did? Internet problems, people doxing me, people DDoS attacking me, all this shit going on these past several months. And I just need a nice few days away where I don't have to think about that and I could just enjoy myself with Leanna and we can just go out there and not be stressed out. And that's what our goal is for that first week of February. Those 3 days, we're going to be away. And like I said, it's not like you won't hear from us because we will be doing vlogging. I'm sure we'll be tweeting. But we're not going to be doing any new gameplay stuff until I return on, I believe it is Saturday of that week, where we'll get back into the groove of things and back into any ongoing playthroughs that we're doing. You'll obviously have way more information on this next week, in next week's Weekend Preview, when we see how far I've gotten with this week's playthroughs. You know, did I beat Dying Light? Did I beat Grim Fandango? Did I get to finish Resident Evil Remake like I wanted to? Am I starting any new projects or new vlogs? Yada, yada, yada. You'll know in a week's time exactly how everything stands, and we'll go from there, all right? So, that being said, because it's Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday that I'm not going to be here, I'm debating doing a special episode of Hate Live, maybe upon my return, to talk about the trip and the stuff that we did. We'll see. I'll play it by ear, because I know you guys like Hate Live, and at this point, I haven't done one in several weeks. I want to do another podcast, and we need to do another podcast, quite honestly, all right? So, phew, all right. So let's review everything very briefly. Submissions from you. I need fan art submissions for upcoming playthroughs. I also need ideas for Patreon. And I also need questions for Ask the King. That's what I need from you guys this week. Please check out the Funniest Moments montage. Please check out the WWE Royal Rumble Sims. If you like those, spread the word about them, right? If my edited videos start to do better, then I can spend more time on them. If you support me on Patreon, I could spend more time not worrying about gameplay and focus on those videos as well. If the Royal Rumble vids do pretty good, then I'll keep doing them monthly. If they're it's only for a niche audience, which, quite honestly, I'm kind of expecting, then I'll probably do them a little bit less, and I'll do them every 3 or 4 months or so when there's a big 4 pay-per-view. This week coming up, the conclusion of Dragon Age Inquisition, including the review, 2 new games in Dying Light and Grim Fandango, Ask the King returns, we're going to have a new DSP tries it at some point, yes, and all that stuff, plus Resident Evil Remake will continue and hopefully conclude by the end of this week. So there is tons of stuff going on this week. Please participate, please spread the word, and thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Another new year, a busy, crazy start as always, and you guys are here for it. I know we haven't had any real retail releases up until this week, finally, with Dying Light, and a lot of people are saying, oh, it's kind of like the summer of last year where you got remakes and stuff, but we're the new games. We're finally getting into new games. You got Dying Light, and you got Evolve coming up. You got the Majora's Mask I think people are going to be into, and other stuff coming up in February. We just got to bide our time a little bit, all right, and we'll get there. So, thanks very much, everyone, for watching. I appreciate it. This has been a long-winded weekend preview. Kind of happy I didn't stream it because I had so much to cover and I didn't get distracted by, you know, the stream chat or anything. Peace out. I'll see you for new gameplay this week. Thanks for watching.